English Academy Plus podcast, your daily dose of real, unfiltered English.
Not simplified English, real English.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jack.
And I'm Emma. It is so wonderful to have you with us again today.
Emma, I want you to imagine a scenario. You walk into a coffee shop and you see two people sitting at different tables. One is wearing a sharp, perfectly tailored suit, and the other is wearing faded sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. Without even speaking to them, do you make assumptions about who they are?
As much as I'd like to say I don't, the human brain automatically makes snap judgments based on appearance. I'd probably assume the person in the suit is a successful professional, and the person in the sweatpants is maybe having a lazy Sunday. Or perhaps going through a rough patch.
Exactly. And that unconscious bias is exactly what we are unpacking today. Today, we are exploring the psychology of fashion. We'll discuss why first impressions matter, the concept of power dressing in the corporate world, and how the clothes you wear can literally change the way your brain functions.
This is our B2C1 advanced track, which means we are going to dive deep. We aren't just giving you vocabulary for shopping. We are going to explore the psychological idioms and expressions used to describe human behavior. So, get comfortable, and let's get into it.
Let's start with first impressions. There is a very famous idiom we use in English: don't judge a book by its cover.
To judge a book by its cover. It means you shouldn't form an opinion about someone or something based solely on outward appearance. But Jack, let's be honest. We all do it anyway.
We absolutely do. Psychologists have found that it takes less than 1/10 of a second to form an impression of a stranger, and a huge part of that is based on what they are wearing. It's tied to something called the halo effect.
The halo effect. This is a fascinating psychological concept. It's a cognitive bias, where if you perceive one positive trait in a person, for example, they are dressed very elegantly, you automatically assume they have other positive traits, like being intelligent, trustworthy, or capable.
Precisely. If you show up to a job interview looking disheveled, the interviewer might subconsciously assume your work is also going to be messy and unorganized. That's why people always say you have to dress the part.
To dress the part. This means to wear clothes that are suitable for a particular role, situation, or job. If you want to be taken seriously as a lawyer, you have to dress the part. You can't show up to court in beach shorts.
But is it fair? Should we really be evaluating someone's competence based on a piece of fabric?
Well, fair or not, it's a social reality. Clothing is a visual language. It communicates respect for the occasion. When you dress the part for a wedding or an interview, you are signaling to the other people that you value the event and you respect their time.
That's a very fair point. It's less about vanity and more about social signaling.
This leads us perfectly into our next topic: power dressing in the workplace.
Power dressing was a huge trend that started in the 1980s, especially for women entering male-dominated corporate environments. They wore sharp blazers with huge shoulder pads to literally take up more physical space and project authority.
And while we might not wear giant shoulder pads anymore, the concept of power dressing is still very much alive. It's all about using your wardrobe to project confidence.
To project confidence. This is a great collocation. It means to send a clear message to others through your body language and appearance that you are self-assured and capable.
If you are walking into a high-stakes negotiation, you want every advantage you can get. A well-tailored suit doesn't just make you look good. It gives you a competitive edge.
A competitive edge, meaning an advantage over your rivals. If two candidates have the exact same qualifications, the one who projects more confidence through their presentation often gets the job. They have the competitive edge.
However, Jack, the corporate world has changed significantly since the 80s. Look at Silicon Valley. You have billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg wearing plain gray hoodies to work. Has power dressing evolved?
It definitely has. In tech, the new power dressing is actually dressing down. It's a psychological flex. By wearing a hoodie to a board meeting, you are essentially saying, I am so brilliant and so indispensable that I don't need to conform to your traditional dress code.
That's so true. It's almost a reverse status symbol. I am too important to care about a tie.
But the impact of clothing goes beyond how others perceive us. It actually changes how we perceive selves.
Yes, there is a fascinating scientific term for this: enclothed cognition. It describes the systematic influence that clothes have on the wearer's psychological processes.
Basically, your brain adopts the characteristics associated with the clothes you are wearing. For example, in one famous study, participants who wore a white doctor's lab coat performed significantly better on attention-related tasks than those who wore their normal clothes.
Because when they put on the lab coat, their brain subconsciously adopted the traits of a doctor: careful, focused, and attentive to detail.
That is incredible. And we feel this in our everyday lives. When you put on a fantastic outfit, you often feel like $1,000,000.
To feel like $1,000,000. This is a classic idiom. It simply means to feel absolutely fantastic, confident, and healthy. When you get a great haircut and put on your favorite suit, you walk out the door feeling like $1,000,000.
And conversely, if you are having a terrible day, sometimes forcing yourself to dress up can actually improve your mood. It's a way to put on a brave face.
To put on a brave face, meaning to behave as if a problem is not worrying you, or to hide your sadness behind a strong exterior. Sometimes, putting on a bright color or a sharp outfit is the armor you need to put on a brave face and get through a difficult day.
There's an old saying, clothes make the man, and science is proving that it's literally true.
Speaking of how clothes change our perception, it's time for today's role play.
In this scenario, Emma and I are two HR managers discussing a candidate who just left a job interview. I am focusing on his impressive resume, but Emma is extremely concerned about his inappropriate outfit. There will definitely be a clash of opinions.
Let's listen.
Well, I thought David was fantastic. His portfolio is exactly what we need for the senior design role, and his ideas for the new campaign were brilliant.
I don't deny that he has the skills, Jack. But did you see what he was wearing? A wrinkled flannel shirt and dirty sneakers. This is a senior management role. We regularly meet with high-profile clients.
Oh, come on, Emma. We're a creative agency, not a law firm. Who cares if his shirt was wrinkled? His portfolio speaks for itself. We shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
It's not about judging him. It's about his professional judgment. If he can't be bothered to iron a shirt for the most important interview of his career, how is he going to present himself to our top clients? It shows a complete lack of respect for the occasion.
I think you're being incredibly superficial. The tech industry has proven that talent doesn't always wear a suit. We need his creativity, not his fashion sense.
Creativity is great, but a senior manager needs to project authority and reliability. When you dress like you just rolled out of bed, you don't project confidence. You project apathy. I say we pass on him.
Wow, okay. Let's break that down. My argument was that skills should trump appearance, and I accused Emma of being superficial, meaning only caring about what is on the surface.
And my argument was that his outfit demonstrated a lack of professional judgment and respect. The phrase I used, "he looked like he just rolled out of bed," is a great descriptive idiom for someone who looks messy and unkempt.
It's a very realistic debate. In creative industries, dress codes are much more relaxed, but there is still an unwritten baseline of respect. If you wear dirty clothes to an interview, you are sending a negative nonverbal message, regardless of your talent.
Exactly. It comes back to dressing the part. Even if the part is creative designer, you still need to look polished.
Let's take a quick pause. If you are enjoying this deep dive into real English conversation and advanced vocabulary, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We release a new episode every week to help you bridge the gap between textbook English and real-world fluency. So, Emma, what is the takeaway here for our listeners who are navigating the professional world in a second language?
I think the takeaway is to use fashion as a tool. When you are speaking a foreign language, you might already feel a bit insecure or hesitant. Why not use enclothed cognition to your advantage?
That's brilliant. If you have an important English presentation, don't just rely on your notes. Put on an outfit that makes you feel powerful. Wear the blazer. Wear the nice shoes. It will subconsciously boost your confidence.
And remember that communication isn't just verbal. If you project confidence through your posture and your outfit, people will be more forgiving if you make a small grammar mistake. They will be focused on your overall presence.
Fashion isn't just vanity. It's a strategic form of communication.
All right, it's time for our full key phrase review. Let's recap all the B2 and C1 level language we naturally dropped today.
First, we had to judge a book by its cover, meaning to form an opinion based only on outward appearance. He looks scruffy, but he's actually a millionaire. You really can't judge a book by its cover.
Next, to dress the part. To wear clothes suitable for a specific role or job. If you want the promotion, you have to start dressing the part.
To project confidence. To send a clear message through your appearance that you are self-assured. Standing tall and making eye contact helps you project confidence.
A competitive edge. An advantage over your rivals. Her bilingual skills give her a competitive edge in the job market.
To feel like $1,000,000. To feel fantastic and confident. After I bought that new tailored suit, I felt like $1,000,000.
To put on a brave face. To behave as if a problem is not worrying you, hiding your true feelings. Even though she was nervous about the presentation, she put on a brave face.
And finally, clothes make the man. A proverb meaning that people are judged by the clothes they wear. Fantastic review. Now it's time for our listener practice questions. We want to hear your thoughts down in the comments.
Question 1. Have you ever experienced enclothed cognition? Does wearing a certain outfit change how you act or feel?
Question 2. In your culture, how important is it to dress the part for a job interview? Are expectations changing?
Question 3. Do you agree that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover? Or do you think clothing is a valid way to evaluate someone's personality?
Well, that wraps up today's deep dive into the psychology of fashion. The next time you open your closet, remember that you aren't just choosing clothes, you're choosing how you want to feel.
Absolutely. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. And let us know your answers to those practice questions in the comments.
Thanks for tuning in to English Academy Plus. I'm Jack.
And I'm Emma. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.